All here today. Welcome to the Dr. Janine Show, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We are talking a lot of different topics today. I'm going to be sharing with you some tips for winter blues. We're going to talk about how I take my collagen every day, as well as facts about melatonin and some of the sort of scary implications of taking melatonin, so don't go anywhere for that. I get a lot of questions on melatonin. We're going to be sharing some face yoga with you as well, one of my favorite techniques for boosting those cheekbones and really tonifying the muscles in the face. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It is an interactive show, so you've got to tune in with me and do the exercises. We're also talking about, unfortunately, something not so great about dark chocolate, some of the toxins found in dark chocolate that has hit the news most recently, so that's really interesting. So we're going to go through that. And of course, post-holiday weight loss. Anybody at all interested in that? So we're going to be talking about that as well. And of course, some tips to fix your sleep. So be sure to share today's episode. This is a live show. It's very interactive and it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, the great thing as well is that because it is interactive, we do have a quiz section coming up. So we're going to be posting some quiz questions up on the boards. You've got 30 seconds to answer, and I'm going to be checking all those answers, and you have the ability to win. Oh, I don't have. We have 3 prizes. So the Doctor Janine mug, we're just going to grab that. We've got Sam behind the scenes. He's just going to grab that really quickly. So this is what we're playing for. We had 3 winners in our last live episode. So I'm going to announce those winners in just a second, but you are playing for the Doctor Janine mug this week. So we've got 2 prizes for that, and also the vitamin D3 chewables, and that we're going to have to grab that. That is from our great sponsors at VitaTree. They allow and make this show possible in the first place. So we thank our sponsors at VitaTree for that. Whole food vitamins, of course, fantastic. So I want to mention last week's winners. So last week, congratulations, Elaine Ross, 860. You were one of our winners of that Dr. Janine mug. Operation Thornton as well. And Tinkerberry, you were one of our winners as well of the Dr. Janine mug. So congratulations. So when we do see, and okay, we've got them here. Now, when you do see those quiz questions come up, don't forget, I'm going to read the question. You've got 30 seconds to answer, and guess what? You don't even have to answer correctly. So we make it really simple here at the Dr. Janine Show. Just get your answers in, do your best, and that's all you have to do. And then we randomly select. So for all of our participants in the quiz section of the show, we're going to randomly select one of those prize winners for each of the prizes. And remember, again, we're playing for 3 prizes this week. I had so much fun doing the 3 prizes the previous week before the holidays that we're continuing in that trend. Okay, so, and make sure, please, that you are following Team Dr. J9 to ensure that we can reach out to you on the platforms. Make sure you're following me, of course, as well. Thank you for all the new followers. I want to say hello. If you've not seen the show before, thank you for the follow, and thank you for sharing today's live as well. Okay, so let's talk about how to combat the winter blues. I get a lot of questions about the winter blues, seasonal affective disorder, and we are going to be talking a lot about sleep and melatonin coming up, so don't go anywhere for that, but that's really important. Now, some of the causes, of course, of winter blues, especially this time of year and depending on where you live, and please share in the comment section, please let me know where everybody is from. I really love to know where everybody's from because I know that I've got followers from all over the world that tune into this show and, of course, love my content as well. Okay, so some of the reasons for the winter blues include those light cycles have changed, of course, in the winter. So the angle of the sun has changed. Now we have more darkness. There's no more vitamin D in a lot of regions, so depending on how far away you are from the equator, we're not able to get that UVB to make vitamin D from natural sunlight exposure, so that's really important as well. Everybody's inside because in a lot of places it's very cold and miserable and rainy, and of course we're not secreting or not getting enough melatonin secretion from our pineal gland, but remember we're going to be talking about melatonin today as well. So now, because we don't have that natural sunlight exposure, we're not making enough melatonin, that this is something that people are really suffering with. And of course our melatonin and our energy levels depend on having that good night's sleep. So here are some of my tips though, how to combat those winter blues. So number 1, is you want to do your best to see the morning sun. This is really important. Even if it is a dreary, dark, cold winter day, no matter where you are in the world, please do your best first thing in the morning to see that morning sun. I'm going to give you some very specific tips for sleep on how to do this. So don't go anywhere. That's coming up towards the end of the show. So please, this is really important in my tips. Morning sun. You've got to see that morning sun. This activates your melatonin for later in the day and helps with your serotonin levels as well, which we know is our feel-good hormone. So see that early morning sun. Tip number 2, you've got to maximize your vitamin D. So your vitamin D, depending on where you live, of course, if you're not getting natural sunlight exposure, you're not going to be able to make vitamin D, so you may need to supplement and increase your food supply of high vitamin D foods. Fish is one of the best sources, fatty fish, and from cold water fish is going to give you some good vitamin D. But usually not enough, in my opinion, for the amount that we need to keep our hormones balanced and to keep our moods up. Sometimes you've got to go to therapeutic doses for your vitamin D. Always make sure that it's a vitamin D3, so that's really important. Okay, tip number 3, probiotics. So there is something called the gut-brain axis, and this is so important because what's happening in our gut is going to have a big effect on what's happening with our brain and our moods and our serotonin levels, so that's really important. Remember, and our dopamine levels as well, our feel-good hormones. That's got to be balanced, and often it comes from not having a good microbiome and a healthy gut, so that's going to be important. Probiotics, so whether that's probiotic foods, but also you want to maybe take a probiotic supplement. That's something that I do, especially in the winter, to keep the moods up. Okay, exercise is really important. Now, here's the thing about exercise. Exercise is often more difficult in the wintertime when it's cold. People don't want to get out, walk, do their bike rides and all these things, of course, because it's cold. So you've got to do and make some concerted efforts for exercise because this really has a lot to do with what's going on with your neurological system. And this is something your astrocytes, this very special cells in your body, are helping, and they are sort of the gatekeepers of what's happening in your nervous system and of course affecting what's happening in your brain as well in the way that you feel. So exercise is imperative every single day. Even if you just commit to 10 minutes of exercise per day, that's really going to help you. And number 5, of course, is getting a good night's sleep. So sleep is imperative for having that good mood because you've got to really make sure that you are able to get that good night's sleep to feel good and have that energy for the next day. Okay, so for those of you who want to screenshot that really quickly, take a quick screenshot. So great to have you all here. Hello, thank you, Chelwell, for streaming in. Maya, nice to see you. Oh, thank you for the flowers, Maya. That's so kind of you. And all the hearts, Karina, thank you. I see that. I also see, is it Murdell Brown Velasquez in New York? Nice to see you. Hello, hello. And Ruby Crystal in Woodbridge. Nice to see you here. Jilly Bean 2626 in Yorkton, Saskatchewan. Hello, hello. I bet you it's cold in Saskatchewan. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Trainee Boulder BLDR. Trainee Builder, is it North Carolina, NC? Thank you. And Zine Amari, no sun in Canada during the winter. It doesn't matter. The sun is still there. Even if you can't see it, you got to get outside. And that's why that morning sun is really important, even if you can't see it. Okay, so let me grab this real quick. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for everybody sharing today's live. It's so great to have you all here. And if you're streaming in for the first time, it's great to have you here. Okay, we already have a quiz question. Are we ready? So everybody get your answers in, just participate, put something in the comments, and we randomly select all of our participants, so you don't even have to get it right to be a winner of one of our first quiz questions. And here it is. Are we ready? What supplements help to combat winter blues? Here we go. You got 30 seconds. Put your answers in the comments. Go. And I hope you're getting those answers in. Here we go. Oh, I see a lot of answers coming in. This is amazing. Good job, good job. Everybody getting your answers in. Good job. Yes. Oh, I'm very happy about this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I see a lot of people are streaming in from different parts of the world in the US and Canada and other parts as well. Thank you for tuning in. Does everybody get their answers in? Yes? Okay, so what supplements help? I think most of you said vitamin D3. Let's see the answers. Vitamin D, yes, vitamin D3, the best type to take, of course, and probiotics help as well. A few people said zinc, magnesium, I see that as well. Also helpful, omegas, absolutely as well. DHA, hello, Susie baby, yes, DHA is another great one. Love that answer, and everybody knows that I'm a big proponent of taking DHA every day. Okay, are we ready? So we will be talking about boosting our cheeks in just a moment, so don't go anywhere. But first I want to show you really quickly what I like to do every morning, and that is to add my collagen into my coffee. So yes, put a 1 in the comments if anybody else takes collagen, because I'm really curious. I want to see that really quickly. So put a 1 in the comments if you do take a collagen supplement, which is fantastic. So the type that I take is a hydrolyzed bovine, so from cows, from grass-fed cows, which makes a huge difference in terms of absorption. A lot of people don't feel well when they take certain collagens. A lot of people, I got my hair done last week, and I was talking to my hairstylist. She said, yeah, I take collagen, the liquid kind, haven't really noticed anything. That's not a good thing. I mean, you're spending money for something, and who knows about toxicity issues with collagen. So really seeing those results is what you're looking for, and that's why I love the grass-fed collagen. And it is in a powder form, so it comes with a little scooper, everybody can see that. And this is what I do every morning. So in my hot coffee, I love it in coffee. You can also do it in a shake. It doesn't have to be in a warm drink. But also, you can do it in tea, you can do it in your shake, you can do it in your protein shake even, because that's going to give you 10 extra grams. The one that I take is 10 grams of those specific amino acids that help with your own collagen. I'm telling you, it's helped with my eyelashes, with my hair growth. It is incredible. I can't believe how quickly my hair has grown with taking the collagen every day. So that's something that I love. And it mixes right in, so you can see, I don't know if the cameras can see that, but it mixes right in and totally melts down. This one is unflavored, which I love. So even if I'm doing a latte or a cappuccino, whatever kind of, coffee that I want on any certain day, it's unflavored. So it's not going to change the flavor of my coffee, but it's amazing. So just give me a second. I'm going to have a sip, and there we go. So we're going to talk about melatonin now. I get so many questions about melatonin, and we're going to be talking about some of the side effects of melatonin in just a few moments. If you do take melatonin, I did see, a lot of people were saying that they do take their collagen. So thank you for putting that in the comments. And how many people take melatonin? How many people take melatonin? If you take melatonin, put a 2 in the comments, please. I want to see that because I'm curious, because you might be shocked at some of the things that I'm going to say a little bit later. So, all right. So one of the things that we're going to talk about, unfortunately, is that melatonin has a bunch of side effects and not so great side effects. So that's important. But we also know that it is, and a lot of people know that melatonin is the hormone of darkness. And we know what's talked about when you read blogs and things about melatonin is that it's secreted by the pineal gland. And that pineal gland, of course, needs to get its melatonin from somewhere. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Now, what a lot of people don't realize, and we're going to go over here, is that melatonin, there's also something called subcellular melatonin. And subcellular melatonin is in our mitochondria. And the mitochondria are organelles within our cells. And that's important because those mitochondria are also secreting melatonin. And one of the biggest effects of melatonin is not just for sleep, it has an antioxidant effect. So that subcellular melatonin has that antioxidant effect, and this is something that's really important. So from this study now, we're going to show you melatonin and the optics of the human body. We can see that they talk about that subcellular melatonin, and we are going to see that, I'm just going to highlight for you, the main point of this review hypothesizes that the subcellular melatonin is being produced in response to near-infrared photons, which make up the majority of natural sunlight. So that antioxidant effect from all of that melatonin in most other places of our body, so not just in the brain and the pineal gland, has a lot to do with our antioxidant effect. So melatonin, you're going to hear more and more of this in the news, that melatonin is like the big anti-cancer thing, that we need to optimize our melatonin. Now, that does not mean, please listen to this, that does not mean, and I see a lot of twos here for people that are taking melatonin, this does not mean to take melatonin as a supplement. And I know this is controversial. I've done posts on this. I get a ton of questions on this all the time. Taking a melatonin supplement is not in your best interest. And we're going to talk about some of the side effects of melatonin in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. But that is important, okay? So it's about optimizing, and some of the hints were here, optimizing your own subcellular melatonin in those mitochondria near infrared photons. What does that mean? Natural sunlight. So if you've been following me for a while, and hello to all my new followers, but if you've been following me for a while, you know I always talk about natural sunlight. Why is that? The research shows that this is what is really very productive and protective for our health and anti-cancer and staving off diseases and all these things, keeping our immune system strong. Natural sunlight. Okay, so we're at quiz question number 2. Is everybody loving this? Okay, I love this information. And I see, yeah, don't feel so bad for all of those number 2s that I see in there for people who do take melatonin. Don't worry, we've got natural fixes for that as well. Okay, so here we go. Quiz question number 2. True or false? The pineal gland is the only place we find melatonin. Everybody just put, if you're tuning in right now for the first time, just put your answers, whatever you think, true or false. You got a 50-50 chance. Here we go, 30 seconds starting now. True or false? The pineal gland is the only place we find melatonin. All right, I see a lot of good answers coming in. Continue, here we go. 30 seconds. You hear the clock, everyone? There we go. Good job, everyone. Just put something in, and remember you're playing for Doctor Janine signature mugs. We also we're playing for the VitaTree Vitamin D3. Get your answers in, and make sure you're following me, of course, as well. And please share this show today with your friends. And the answer is false. So we just talked about that. Yes, the pineal gland is not the only place. We have the subcellular melatonin, really important antioxidant, and it's activated by what? Sunlight, yes. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's now talk about boosting our cheekbones. And this is something that we can do very easily with facial yoga exercises. So that's something that I love to do naturally without, having the need for other things that people do for their beauty. I'm all natural girl. And this is something that we will be talking about toxins in dark chocolate in just a second, so don't go anywhere for that. But I do want you to do these exercises with me right now. Now, this is a funny one, so please do it along with me because I know I look really goofy when I do these fun exercises, but there's a purpose. This is for beauty, and it doesn't matter. This one I don't usually. I was tempted to do this in the car the other day when my daughter was actually, and she's here, when she was driving me because, yeah, she was driving me. We went shopping, whatever. And I was tempted to do this in the car, and I thought, no, number one, if people look into the car and they think that, there's this mad woman that's being driven around doing these, like, contorting her face. But not to mention that my daughter would probably wonder, well, she's probably used to me doing weird things and my facial exercises, but I didn't want to freak her out. So anyways, I didn't do it in the car. You can do this in the car if you want. That's totally up to you. But what we're doing is we're stimulating those facial muscles. So this is something that when things start to drop in terms of our muscles here, then we can start to look very sallow. And that's when those nasolabial folds can get worse, when everything is dropping in terms of the musculature. But just like the muscles that we have, our biceps and our quads and our other muscles in our body, we can also tonify and strengthen and boost up and plump up our musculature in the face. So we're going to be working on the zygomaticus right here and the levator right here, to help to boost up this area. And you can see visual changes within as little as a couple of weeks with doing this exercise. Okay, is everybody ready? Okay, this one, it's fun. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're going to purse your lips, you're gonna open your mouth, so you're making like an O with your mouth. I'm gonna explain it first and then we're gonna do it together. You're sort of pursing your lips and sort of mildly smiling, and then you're gonna put your tongue underneath your lower lip. Please all do this with me at the same time. And then you're gonna put your fingers just above, because you wanna feel the contraction of these muscles right here that we saw here that are going to help to lift. So remember, this is going to lift. If you have the nasolabial folds, it will lift. It'll plump up your cheek cheeks, which is amazing. But also if you're getting some droopiness happening here, by lifting these muscles here, it helps to tonify the chin and the jawline. So that is why this is such a multitasker for you. Are we ready? Okay, and you're going to do about 10 repetitions, and ideally in the day you would repeat this 3 times. So 10 reps times 3, you're going to feel a lot of activity happening here. It's going to start burning, and it may even get red because you're bringing that blood flow there. Okay, are we ready? Okay, I'm going to look at my mirror, so yeah, there we go. So we're opening our mouth, pursing our lips a little bit, and smiling, and you're sticking your tongue underneath your lower lip. Ready? Here we go. And now your fingers are going here, and you're going to kind of do this, kind of like bunny nose, but instead of trying to use the nasal muscles, you're going to try to activate these muscles. And it takes a while. Like I had to practice when I first started doing this a little bit, because you don't want to be scrunching up your face. If you're concerned about eye wrinkles when doing this, you can have some fingers here and some fingers here to keep things nice and smooth. But here we go. Ready? I hope everybody is doing this with me. I'm starting to sweat just doing this right now, so I hope you can feel that. But what you're doing is, and you will visibly see this, I'm telling you, like for me it was like 3 days. I could already see that this muscle was trying to, and starting to really puff up. And you can see that, you know, I have high cheekbones anyways, but you can see that my musculature for my age, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, is quite good because I do these exercises to keep everything going. Okay, a few more seconds and we're going to go to toxins. I think is where we're going next in dark chocolate in just a second. It's so depressing, but it's so good at the same time. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you do that about 10 times, okay? And try not to squish all of these things. Usually I do this and do this in front of a mirror. So if you do have the ability after today's show, please share this with your friends right now. They're gonna wonder, what the heck is going on with this girl? Okay, everybody doing that? And can you feel it? I don't know if I'm red yet in my cheeks. Yeah, I have makeup on, but you can see that. I know at the control room, everybody here at the Doctor Janine show, everybody behind the scenes is doing it. It's like these guys out here. You're being shy. What's going on? Okay, so those are the facial exercises. If you are tuning in for the first time, I've got a ton of facial exercises on my different platforms, so please check them out. And make sure that you're following me as well, so you'll find me if you just search my name, Dr. Janine. On the different platforms, you will find me, you will find my facial exercises. We've got playlists for that as well, and I continue to share. So, and as well, put it in the comments if you are loving this. I see upside down smiley faces, and thank you for all the new followers. This is so great. Thank you for tuning in today. Please check out all my content. If you want me to do something specific, please put it in my commenting, because my team behind the scenes of the Dr. Janine show, they're really great at, you know, really garnering the information that we put into the shows, and I'm answering your questions a lot of times because that's what you guys want to know more about. So it's so great to have you here if you're just tuning in for the first time. This is the Dr. Janine show. Thank you for sharing today's live, and thank you for all the new followers. I see that all streaming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's talk about the sad news. About everybody knows, if you've been following me for a while, one of my favorite things in life is chocolate, especially dark chocolate. I really, as I've aged, not that I'm that old, but over the years, as a kid, I used to love, you know, the milk chocolate, but I love dark chocolate. I just love it. And so this was sent to me by one of our team members here at the Dr. Janine show when I was away on holidays. And yeah, kind of missing my chocolate, because that's a daily thing for me, is to have some dark chocolate, but away on holidays, I didn't have access to it. And anyways, this was sent to me that, yeah, it was broke in the news that chocolate has some issues. And this is something that, yeah, it's got some heavy metal toxins, so especially lead and cadmium. Now, if you love your chocolate and you've indulged over the holidays, don't go anywhere, because I've got some post-holiday weight loss tips coming up in just a few moments. But unfortunately, those heavy metals, things like lead, cadmium, are a problem in dark chocolate. And even the organic chocolates, some of my favorite brands that I love to eat or was eating, made it on a list. So this was in a link to a report, so you can look this up yourself. I don't like to call out or talk trash about any other brands about anything, so you can look it up yourself. But in this report, and this was in Consumer Reports, they did talk and they named some even of the organic chocolates, the ones that I love, that unfortunately tested high in cadmium and lead. And the problem with, of course, heavy metals is this is not so great for your brain health. And this is why one of my tips is always to do regular detoxification. So am I going to stop eating dark chocolate? No, absolutely not. Will I continue for myself and to educate people about doing a full body detox and especially removing those heavy metal toxins? Absolutely. And that's something that I do suggest that we're doing every single quarter. So once a quarter, you're doing a full body detox and addressing those heavy metals as well. But I promised I would talk, and I know a lot of people overdid it over the holidays with their holiday treats and things, and maybe some more alcohol. So let's talk now about some post-holiday weight loss tips. I am going to be talking about sleep in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. Thank you for sharing today's live. It's so great to have you all here. But I will be talking sleep in a few minutes with some tips there, which I promise. But let's talk about weight loss tips. One of the best things you can do is to go outside. And why is that? And this is especially true if you are in a cold climate. So everybody in a cold climate, please put a cold emoji somehow into the platform that you're looking and streaming in on today. Please put those emojis in, those freezing cold emoji people. I want to see who's in a cold climate. So this is something that, yes, Lindy, I see that. Awesome. And Michelle, you've got that. Husky mom, yes, cold, cold, cold. Husky mom for sure. And your husky loves the cold. And we should love the cold as well. So if you live in that cold climate, going outside is really important, especially for brief periods of getting cold will activate something called your brown fat. And we want more brown fat. It's more thermogenically active. It helps to increase our own body heat and burns off some of that excess white fat that we may have. So if you've overdone it over the holidays, I don't care what temperature it is, you can go out for 30 seconds without your coat, with minimal clothing. You're not going to get sick. Just go outside into the cold to build some of that brown fat. Last night I was moving cars and things and I thought, yeah, this is my opportunity. No coat, just go out, get cold for brief periods of time. Now the longer you do that, the more brown fat you're going to build, of course, but you don't want to be, excessively cold for the point that you're excessively shivering. But shivering actually does help to increase your metabolic rate. So if you are daring enough to do that, then do that. Cold dunks, of course, are great as well. Tip number 2, eat more keto if you live in a cold climate. So this is for all the people that are away from the equator. Eat more keto and try to eat locally available foods. Way back in history, we didn't have access to grocery stores where food was imported from all different parts of the world. So think about what you could grow, what you could naturally eat think about your heritage. I mean, going back hundreds of years, what did your family eat? What did they have access to? And that's based on where your mitochondria come from. Your mitochondria come from your mother, so that's going to determine what you should be eating. And of course, in the climate that you're in right now, that should be what you are able to eat. Okay, so typically that's more of a keto diet in the colder climates. And tip number 3, of course, is to sleep and get a good night's sleep. Because did you realize, and I don't know about you, but I know in my colder climate in the winter, I'm just less hungry. And the studies have shown that sleep and higher melatonin levels are definitely going to decrease your appetite. And think about a hibernating bear. They don't want to, and I saw, a documentary about bears on the weekend, that naturally in hibernation, their metabolic rate slows down. They don't have that excessive hunger because they're sleeping more, they have more melatonin. So I want you to screenshot this really quickly. Hello, with my beautiful smile. You've got that, and you can use these tips, especially if you put on a few extra pounds over the holiday season. Okay, now, I promised I would talk a little bit about melatonin. So for all of those of you who put your 2s in the comments that you take a melatonin supplement, fortunately, this is something that has a lot of drawbacks and negative side effects. And we were actually away on vacation with the kids over the holiday season for a few days. It was amazing. We went to a sunny place. It was great. And one of our family friends that came along on the trip said, oh my goodness, I forgot my melatonin at home. I need to find some melatonin to take. And I'm like, what? Oh no, because taking melatonin, this is something, of course, you get hooked on taking, has a lot of negative side effects. And this is not what you're going to hear from, of course, people who talk about and even prescribe melatonin. And this is something that, unfortunately, the side effects of melatonin include headaches, and it can cause dizziness and nausea. Remember, it is a hormone, so it's going to have hormonal effects. It can cause, for some people, vivid dreams and even nightmares as a negative side effect. Some short-term feelings of depression and low mood, and even irritability. A lot of mood swings can happen when you take melatonin as a supplement. And again, stomach cramps. It can cause a lot of digestive upsets for people, and constipation, decreased appetite, as well as some nocturia. So that is urination at nighttime. So a lot of people who take melatonin, they have to get up to pee in the middle of the night, and that's what nocturia is. And reduced alertness as well. So there's a hangover effect sometimes for people who take melatonin. And the research shows, which is something that I've shared in posts before, that it can destroy your retina in your eyes. So it can cause retinal detachment. A lot of people have suffered retinal detachment. They too do take melatonin. This is not something you're going to hear in mainstream news. You can search it up. It's difficult to find the information, but that is something that you have to be aware of with melatonin supplementation. So this is something that definitely we want to fix your sleep and doing it without taking melatonin supplements. And this is something that we can do. So I've got some tips now. So 5 tips how to fix your sleep without taking a melatonin supplement. Okay, so what you're going to do is check your weather app and check when the sun rises on your weather app. This is really important. You're going, and this is for all the people who have difficulty sleeping. And this is so that within 2 weeks, you're going to have guaranteed results if you follow these tips. This is incredible. So you're going to screenshot this at the end if you're just tuning in. Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Janine. This is the Dr. Janine Show. We do this every Tuesday at this time. And it's so lovely to have you all here. Thank you for sharing today's live. Thanks for all my new followers. I know a ton of you are new followers and you shared. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so this is really important. So you're going to check your weather app tomorrow when the sun rises. You're going to set your alarm, okay, for that time when the sun is rising. Now, this is mostly for people who have difficulty sleeping and you live in the temperate regions like I do, not close to the equator. But at any rate, most people who live near the equator, they sleep just fine. And that's because of the sun and the circadian rhythms, but not everybody. So anyways, check when that sun is rising, set your alarm clock for that time. Tip number 2, you're going to go outside. Oops, there we go there we go. Outside at that time. So your alarm goes off, you get outside, and you're going to go outside with minimal clothing, and you're going to go with bare feet. And I don't care if it's snowy, don't whine. And I know a lot of you are like, oh, I can't do that. I can see it in my comments all the time. I can't do that. It's too cold. It's snow, blah, blah, blah. For a few seconds, you're going to be okay. You just go outside and bear it as long as you can with minimal clothing, even your pajamas, whatever you want to get. And even if the sun isn't out, if it's snowing, it's natural light. You're going outside when that sun is rising. You're going to bear it as long as you can, whether that's 30 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Go outside. Minimal clothing, nothing on your eyes. So ideally no glasses, no sunglasses definitely, and no contacts. If you have to wear your glasses to be able to see where you're going so you don't trip down the stairs or whatever, then wear your glasses, but try to get some natural sunlight in your eyes. You can actually, once you're standing in a comfortable spot, take your glasses off, natural sunlight, first thing in the morning. Go outside. Okay, tip number 3. Then you're going to eat a big breakfast. Okay, so that breakfast is going to be mostly healthy proteins and healthy fats, okay? That is tip number 3, really important. And I hear you people whine all the time, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting, oh, I don't like breakfast, oh, I'm not hungry in the morning, I never eat breakfast. Eat a big breakfast. This is really important for your leptin signaling. It's something that I talk about in all of my videos. Important for weight loss, weight gain as well. You've got to eat that breakfast. This sets up your circadian rhythm, and this, believe it or not, is going to help with your sleep as well. So eat that big breakfast. Then, tip number 4, you're going to go to bed on an empty stomach. No food, okay? So that means stopping eating at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. So the way that you calculate this, now pay attention, there's a little bit of math. You're going to look at that time that the sun rises, okay? So everybody is going to find out what that is. then you're going to subtract 9 hours from the sunrise time that you see on your app. Subtract 9 hours. Okay, so for example, the sun rises, let's say 7:51 a.m. is the sunrise time that it shows on my weather app. I'm going to subtract 9 hours, so 10:51 is my bedtime. You got to go to bed and make sure it's lights out, it's dark, you're not looking at devices, so ideally even at the 10-hour mark before your sunrise time, it's dark. And if you have to, where's my blue light blocking glasses? Oh, I left them somewhere. Okay, if you have to wear your blue light blocking glasses, don't be on a device. At least that hour before bedtime, do not be on a device. If you have to and you have artificial lights in your environment, wear, I think they're over here, it's okay. Wear, your blue light blocking glasses, really important. And you're gonna do this every day for 2 weeks, and I guarantee you're gonna sleep better. I guarantee. So please screenshot this, really important. If you do have questions, if you forget the details, I think it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, except for the math part of it, in going to bed without food and what time your bedtime is. Remember, you're subtracting, maybe I'll put a little note here, subtracting 9 hours, okay, from this time, your sunrise time. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think I was a teacher in a past life. People ask me all the time if I was ever a teacher. No, I am a naturopathic doctor. And an entrepreneur, and a mom. Oh my gosh, that should be at the top of the list, but not a teacher. But I love my teaching skills. I hope it's working for you. Okay, we are at quiz question number 3, the final quiz question of the day. Are we ready? Did everybody get that? I hope everybody was able to screenshot that. Okay, but if you do have further questions, if you missed something up, just put in the commenting. You can always send an email as well to hello@vitatree.com with specific questions, hello@vitatree.com, and the team there will be able to direct, in the right way to be able to answer those questions. Okay, here we are, quiz question number 3. Remember, if you're just tuning in right now, just put we're playing for a prize. It's Dr. Janine mug, or this might be for the Vitatree Vitamin D3 that we're playing for. True or false? Are we ready? Here we go. True or false? For better sleep, you should eat a big breakfast. True or false? All right, we've got 30 seconds on the clock. Put your answers in, true or false. It's a 50-50 guess. All right, I see those answers coming in really quick. Wow, oh my goodness. Good job, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the quiz part of the show. This is our 3rd quiz question. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we do this every Tuesday at this time. And it's so great to have you all here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing today's live as well. I saw so many people were sharing, which is amazing, and gifts coming through, and high fives, and all these great things. So thank you so much. This is so great to be back in the new year, and Happy New Year, everyone. Okay, we're out of time already. True or false? I saw most of the good answers there. Yes. Absolutely. For better sleep, you should eat a big breakfast. So if you have difficulty sleeping, if you have difficulty with weight loss, follow those tips that I hope you screenshotted in the previous little segment there about having a good night's sleep, guaranteed results in 2 weeks, and we will check in. So let's make a note behind the scenes, please. My team, let's make a note that we are going to check in 2 weeks. If you're going to start implementing tomorrow morning, implementing these tips, we're going to check back in to make sure everybody was having better sleep. And I'm so excited. Thank you. All those Happy New Year's to you too. Thank you so much. Okay, so do we have time to take a few questions? I think we do. Do we have, yeah, okay, so put your questions. If you've got a few questions, I will answer them here. It's so nice to have you all here. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're here for the first time, we do this every Tuesday at this time slot, the Dr. Janine Show. Of course, sponsored by Vitatree, Whole Food Vitamins, which is amazing, makes this show possible. If you do have specific questions, and if I don't get to all of your questions, I know so many new people are here and I wasn't able to call out everybody's name today, so thank you for tuning in. I do apologize. It's difficult because I've got multiple things that are happening here and so many new people tuned in today, so I want to welcome you all in. It was so great to have you here. We do this every week, and if you do have any Q&A right now, please put it in the comments. I am going to do my best to answer them like rapid fire really quickly, and other questions you can send an email to hello@vitatree.com, and we're going to show you that email in just a second. Okay, here we go, and please ask general questions. Of course, I don't give medical advice here. What is a good level of vitamin D? Krista Fortuny, great questions. So it really depends on what your levels are at. So ideally you get a blood work done to see where your vitamin D is at. Based on your symptoms as well, this is something that we definitely, if you've got a lot of pain, inflammation, difficulty with your energy levels, of course, and seasonal affective disorder. Oh yeah, thank you. So, and I'm going to show you something that we're going to be making next week as well, which I forgot to mention. So then that is something you want to optimize your vitamin D levels with. So it depends. Like most Canadians living in a dark climate with no UV right now for the next 3-4 months, is that usually 2,500 units is what Health Canada, as an example, says is a good amount. I know most people take about 3,000 to 5,000 international units per day of vitamin D, but it depends. Are you getting vitamin D in your diet? Are you going to go on a sunny holiday? I mean, there's a lot of variables, but you're always checking, of course, with your practitioner. To be sure, best way to lose weight, fix your leptin resistance. So I've got a lot of posts on that, so please check out on all of my different platforms, depending on where you're streaming in on, fix your leptin resistance, that's really important. And, Monica, you're so welcome, and Judy, you're so welcome. Thank you for everybody. Monica has a question, how to deal with fibroids. So I actually do have some videos on that platform that you're tuning in on. About fibroids, some very detailed information about what to do for fibroids. So please check that out for anybody, or if you have friends or women that are suffering with fibroids. This is something that I know can be very devastating, affects fertility levels, and it's big. Detox is a big component of dealing with fibroids. So doing that full body detox at least 3-4 times a year. Probiotics, your gut health is important. Detox is huge, and that's really important for helping with fibroids. Summer baby, what is the best type of magnesium? Well, of course, magnesium bisglycinate. I've got a bunch of posts on this, so please check out all of my posts on my different platforms. Magnesium bisglycinate, it's bound to 2 glycines. Glycine works like a neurotransmitter in your body. It's really important for proper absorption, and you can take it at high dosages, which I do recommend, especially because of all our EMF exposure that we have in our environment to electromagnetic fields. Your cell phones that you're on, or your tablets, or whatever you're watching in on today is emitting, some EMFs, and not great for our health, but magnesium helps to balance and counteract some of those EMFs. Now, ideally, we have less EMF exposure. I've got videos on that as well, and how to mitigate your risks against, of course, all of that exposure. Thank you for the new follows. Thank you. Lisa, what helps with nausea? If it's chronic nausea, of course, determining what the cause of is for nausea, but doing full body detox. And often liver health is important. Turmeric is one of the great things, and this is a great segue into what I'm going to be making for you next week. So I made this yesterday. Oh my God, delicious. So these are pumpkin spice bars. Delicious breakfast, high protein food. It's all nuts and seeds, and it's got turmeric, so you can see that little drizzle on the top. We are going to be making this next week. I'll be sharing that recipe with you, so please tune in. These are like delish and so healthy, so good, high protein and high healthy fat, so a great thing to have in your breakfast. Okay, which one am I looking at? I know there's a lot of questions. Okay, is it Krista Fortuny taking magnesium, K2, and D all in one tablet? Is that okay? And when should you take it? No, it's not okay. I've done posts on this. In my opinion, you take magnesium not at the same time as your vitamin K2. K2 I like closer to bedtime with a calcium, and K2 and D at the same time are going to compete for absorption, not ideal. So you want to maximize your absorption by taking your magnesium separately, and that's the way that I do it, magnesium bisglycinate in the morning, not at bedtime, and your K2 and your whole food calcium closer to bedtime. That's the way that I do it. I take my vitamin D in the morning because it helps with energy levels. You can see I've got bounds of energy, and despite the fact having 5 children and lots of craziness, and good craziness in a good way, but it's all good. Okay, magnesium malate, is it beneficial? Homeostasis, I like your handle name. Not one of my favorites, and I actually have some posts on the platform that you're tuning in on. I have some posts about, my favorite. I actually go through it on the whiteboard, the different types of magnesium and their attributes, some good, some not so good. And that's why it was, something you can check out. And thank you everybody for sharing today. I know I saw so many, new followers. Meep, thank you for the follow. Thank you for all of you who shared today's live. It was so great. And we do this. So please check out, if you're new to my content, I am a naturopathic doctor, and you may have seen me on television if you're in Canada. I am on television. I'm actually going there tomorrow, and I'll be on TV for the next few days of the week. And I talk about, whole food supplementation and what you should do in terms of optimizing your health. And of course, always doing it naturally. And there's, in the world of supplements, there's supplements, and then there's whole food supplements, and most supplements are synthetically made, and that's what I educate a lot of people about. So if you're looking at me, and I'm not Lisa Kudrow, because everybody says I look like Phoebe from Friends. I don't know if anybody commented that today. I didn't see it. But yeah, I'm not Lisa Kudrow. And somebody commented last week that, oh, it's so good, Phoebe, that you got a job after Friends, talking health. And I thought that was kind of funny, but I get that all the time. User 838493, what do I recommend for bloating? So fixing that gut environment is very important. Believe it or not, sunlight exposure is important. Also probiotics, increasing your probiotic foods, increasing your natural fiber in your diet, decreasing your stress. Grounding is important as well for digestive. So if you do have questions about gas and bloating, please check out my posts on my different platforms. You can always find me. Just look up my name, Dr. Janine Bowring, and you will find me on those different platforms. And you can basically, I think, with the thousands of videos that we have now, of course, we have really covered a lot of topics in terms of something that you can definitely, tune into and get your questions answered. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today. If you do have more questions and comments, please put them in the Q&A sections of the show. Remember, next week we will be talking about those delicious breakfast bars that I made. If you just tuned in now and you missed the show, it's okay. It will live. I believe you can reference it back, right? On YouTube, you can go to YouTube Live and you can see this entire show, which is great. So today, just to recap, we talked about winter blues. We talked about how I like to drink my coffee. What I add in there, of course, is my collagen, a specific type of collagen. I mentioned that, so you can check that out. We talked about melatonin, some of the facts and the effects of melatonin on the body, and of course, the side effects of taking a melatonin supplement, which of course I do not recommend. So that's something that you have to educate yourself more about. We did some face yoga. Wasn't that fun? I hope that, I love to see some thumbs up there. I know that we love that segment of today. And if you want to see more of that, please let us know in the comments as well. We talked about some of the downsides of dark chocolate, the toxins, the cadmium, of course, and the lead, not so great. And we talked about post-holiday weight loss tips. So I made a list of things that you can do and my tips to fix your sleep, and guaranteed in 2 weeks. So we're going to check in with all of you in a couple weeks if you have trouble sleeping. Follow those tips. I hope that you screenshotted it. But again, you can check it out on YouTube and you can watch it back. And I explain. So if you missed anything about the timing and the calculations and the math part of that, you